Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Sam for WealthWise. Today we are going to dive into top 3 investments that can pave the way to that financial freedom we have always sought after, right? So stick around, let's explore these key strategies and these 3 areas that will help you quickly get control of your financial health and secure your financial future. So let's go and dive into it. So number 1, we're going to talk about real estate. So my journey to the real estate started when I bought my own principal residence back in 2002 when I had immigrated newly to the country. So when you are new to the country, you cannot get a mortgage unless you have a job, right? And if you have business, you need 3 years of financial statements, audited financial statements to get a real estate mortgage. So I worked as a vice president and then got the first principal residence. From there on, I paid off that pretty quickly because I jumped into business, and I have been in business ever since from 2004 onwards as a legal entity separately. But the real estate investment that I did, and having paid that off, we scaled it up and bought a smaller home, a kind of a condo town house, and that generated consistent revenue for us. The third thing I did is when I started the business, we were paying a rent of roughly $6,000 to $7,000. So we found a property which is a commercial building, which fitted our mortgage requirements. And in terms of financial of the company, after 3 years of working from a rental office, and we bought that property out. So if we bought the property for, let's say, $1 million, and today it's 6x, it's worth $6 million. So that again helped us. So the real estate itself multiplied. So 1 became 2, 2 became 3, and then I bought a multiplex apartment after that, and then another home, so it became 5, and then 2 other properties in another country, so total of 7 real estate portfolio. And this has a ripple effect, right? So you might be staying in 1 or 2 of those properties, but the other properties generate healthy cash flow for you. And it's important to understand this multiplication factor. Just like when you own a franchise, 1 franchise doesn't cut it out for you, you need 3 or 4. So similarly in real estate, you need to have at least 3 or 4 properties to achieve that financial success. So that would be the first investment that you would want to focus on. Whether it's a rental property, or it's an Airbnb, or it's a commercial property, right? The ongoing passive income it generates for you provides unbeatable advantages, and it builds your equity over time. As I said, if I bought it for X amount, now it's 6X, right? And you can go for a reverse mortgage, you can go for a home equity line of credit, and then you can multiply this factor. However, you should do it in your control, because you will have to hire a property manager after a certain while. So as long as you are not kind of getting preoccupied and it stays to the level of passive income, real estate is a must-have, and it's an unbeatable, proven, historic, investment for decades and decades, and for thousands of years. It's given fruits to those who have dealt into it and had that portfolio of investment in real estate. So that's number 1. Number 2 would be stock market investment. As they say, right, the time in the market beats timing the market, and you have to use a moving average cost to get into the stock market. You've got to focus on the top stocks in each of your industry verticals. So there is the large blue chip segment, and there is the Russell 2000, or the smaller segment. So you got to do your portfolio distribution between the large blue chips and the smaller stocks. You also got the portfolio distribution in between the area of your comfort or the industry solution that you can focus on. For example, I invest in the high-tech areas, and that has really given me good dividends. And if you are in the healthcare sector, you might want to focus on the healthcare sector, both on the top tier companies, which is the top 5 companies in the blue chip segment, and then the new technology companies which are coming up in the smaller segment. So real estate, if you have invested over time, for example, I invested in 2012, and then I was able to roughly, I would say, and I shouldn't be saying this, but I was able to 100x the money I invested during the 2009 downturn, and that resulted in me buying a multiplex, fourplex property by divesting that portfolio of stocks. So stocks is unbeatable. So it gives you unparalleled opportunities to growth and wealth accumulations, right? Investing in diversified portfolio of stocks, bond, and mutual funds, and ETFs. ETFs is a great thing to have. So ETF funds like VOO, VUG, which is Vanguard funds, Charles Schwab funds, which is SCHD, SCHG, great. Reality, monthly dividend funds like O, right? Those have consistently, or bonds like BND, right? Or TMF, which is triple leverage market funds, have given you consistent income and dollar cost averaging and using the DRIP principle, which is, reinvestment into the same, whatever dividends and interest you get, reinvesting back into this, can multiply your portfolio 10x and 100x, just like it did for me, right? So you can successfully invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs, right? As well as monthly dividend reality funds, right? That would give you consistent income because it's a great asset to have. So that's the second asset, and you must have the second asset as a portfolio, and it's a must have. It's not a question of if you will have, you have to have it if you want to be financially independent, right? And this will benefit you long term in terms of capital appreciation and ongoing payments to you multifold. And people have built huge fortunes just by investing in stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, and bonds. So that would be now number 2 assets, that second asset that you might want to look at, and it's a must-have other than the real estate. The third asset that you must definitely want to look at is entrepreneurship and business ownership. So everybody has a passion, everybody has something he's really good at. So it does not really matter what it is, but if you can, you should go out and start your own entrepreneurship journey. I started that few times in my life. I have been very successful. One thing it does is it's a little bit of roller coasters. Salary gives you continuous income, but business is a roller coaster. However, there's a minimum outflow that it generates for you. So if you do smart business and you manage your cash flow well, because the lifeline for human body is blood, the lifeline for the business is cash flow. If you manage the cash flow well, you will consistently get a steady revenue stream, and it might bump up or bump down, but it'll never go below that level of cash flow that you have always controlled. And that's what we do in our business. So again, I have created another video which is called Build versus Buy. You should look at Build versus Buy if you want to kind of get into the real estate or the business side of things. And real estate can also be a business. For a lot of people, stock and investment is also business. But other than those 2 assets that I talked about previously, you can have other businesses, like you can have franchise for food, you can have franchise for e-commerce, you can have franchise of other things like gas or healthcare or pharmaceuticals. But also you can be an independent influencer in the social media. That's also a great business to have. People like Mr. Beast, who's on the YouTube, has built a fortune. There are lots of people who have been able to do that. You should go out and check their video. It really is quite inspiring. So starting your entrepreneurship journey offers potential of unlimited earnings. It gives you flexibility of the most precious commodity called time, and time belongs to you. The ability to create value in the marketplace whether you are launching a startup or acquiring an existing business, which is the video I told you about, right? Entrepreneurship can provide you returns on investment and control over your financial destiny like nothing else. So if you look at the world's billionaires, majority of them have come through entrepreneurship. Those who have not come through entrepreneurship have inherited assets from somebody directly or indirectly, either their parents or the predecessors. They have inherited those assets, and that has given them fortunes which have been unthinkable. The journey of technology is also a great area for entrepreneurship, and I'm a technology entrepreneur. So that would be the third asset. So again, let's go through the assets, guys, one by one. Number one, real estate, a must do. Number two, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and bullions, if you will, must do. And number three, entrepreneurship and business ownership is again a must do. If you generate these three assets and stay away from the bad debts, which I've talked about in another video of mine. If you want to look at that, you should go out and look at that. Then you'll be extremely successful. You can retire early and you work for fun. I work for fun from last 10 years. And I'm one of those fire generation, and I'll continue to work. I'm from a different baby boomer generation, which has seen a lot of roller coaster. We are driven, extremely driven. I'm not saying the current generation is not, but in general, our generation, we have seen the paradigm shift, both in terms of wealth, in terms of well-being, in terms of abundance of everything, right? And what used to happen in 10 years now happens in a year, right? As the technology progresses. So if you want to be financially successful, follow these three assets and you will never regret these in your life. So if you do like, subscribe this channel. Please give it a thumbs up. Press that subscription button so we get notified, and we will notify you when we are launching our next video. We'll try and make this video more and more interesting in our journey as we keep going. So please do like and subscribe this. And this is Sam signing off for WealthWise, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, guys.